All right, we got a little issue. We are up for a passport. We would like to get a passport so we could leave your piece of shit country, or not from our perception. It's worthless to us because of our worthlessness and our status as being nothing more than fucking N-worders to all of the great sovereign citizens and Americans. And then on top of that would be the Americans. If you're just tuning in, you don't have a clue what I'm talking about, and I really don't have the time to explain. So, what this one specifically is about is hero of your planet, your hero, the king of your existence. Russell J. Gould, he's the owner of your flag, and he is your muster master, and a dozen other titles that he has. He's again, he's a fucking great man. If you don't know anything about him, then you need to fucking learn. So spend your time watching him. You will learn a lot, whether it's useful or not. The knowledge that's totally up to every entity and every individual. That's your own fucking bag, right? And we bear our own crosses. Okay, so we have nothing against him, and what the only reason we mention him is because he says, I've heard him repeatedly say that the birth certificate scam had ended on 1999. And we were looking through birth certificates, and specifically, we didn't see this on other birth certificates. We looked through, and specifically, we found this to be interesting. So this was issued in 1993. And open this up. If you look, they're literally calling this Ada May Raoub. It was issued on 1993. It is illegal to duplicate this copy by photostat or photograph. So whoever they did this, they need to hunt them down and throw them in your privatized prison for profit. Fucking kill them. Fucking, right? Illegal. What kind of fucking bullshit is that? Anyways, subject. That's a very odd, right? Very odd. Here though, this was in 2016. There's no subject left anymore. There's no subject here. And they have the father's name and the mother's maiden name, where the other one didn't have that, did it? Nope, it just had the subject because this poor son of a bitch, or I guess whore, poor whore, was owned by the Commonwealth. And I would imagine they still are. However, now they are actually recognizing. And one other aspect was before, back in the day, I don't know how they do it these days, but, and I wouldn't even want to have a child, because the minute if I had a child, right, then guess who is going to be King fucking Dick? Big fucking asshole gone solo. Fucking, oh my god, I would not even couldn't even imagine what kind of fucking trouble I would bring upon myself when I start to fucking make sure that they cross their goddamn I's and dot their fucking T's, right? And so, before this, right, there was the concept of, in the birth certificate scam, they only had the mother, and they only had it by the maiden name, and it's probably the reason they changed this up is probably because so many people got hip to the fucking fact of what the scam that was going on. So they, and this is how they're operating every aspect. Right? Once they'll keep fucking screwing you until the people wise up and the sheep will start to actually start fucking acting like people, and then all of a sudden they might not change it completely or very dramatically, but they will fucking start making changes. Okay. So either way, what happens is, in ecclesiastical law, which actually is what runs the whole fucking thing, canon law is another word for ecclesiastical, and this is coming from Rome, right? Because Rome still rules out of Washington, D.C., right? And I'm going to do another video that talks about that. And, well, a woman cannot have ownership over anything. And that would be why I would assume that they went, and if you remember, if you ever watched The Wizard of Oz, right? The Wizard of Oz, the OZ stands for ounces, the Wizard of Ounces, and this showed up, I think it was 1938 roughly, but the story was already written in a concept that had already been written before 1933 when they confiscated all the gold from Americans, right? With the Trading with the Enemy Act, and with the Enemy Act, and that was, the enemy was the American people to the United States corporation, right? And so the Wizard of Oz, right? In that, right? The fucking Wicked Witch of the East, which would be east of America, which would be over in Europe. So the magical powers, which these people are fucking geniuses, and they have control via the spirit realm over all of the fucking sheep. Okay? And I like that here is one of the Iron Crosses. So anyways, Wizard of Oz, Dorothy, and fucking, they said, I'll get you too, my little pretty, right? So what the whole thing was they split the man into three aspects, and they're going after the woman next, and they'll get their fucking little dog too. Well, they split the man into three aspects. The Tin Man, which is the tax identification number, which was a fairly new concept back in 1933, right? The Straw Man, which was your this, like, every one of these names is all in uppercase, which is the capitalized name, which is your fucking transmitting utility in the commercial pipeline, right? And this is your birth certification of ownership, right? And then the Cowardly Lion with no fucking heart because he's a little bitch, right? So that's what the men, and maybe they weren't at that point in time, but that's exactly what they're shooting for, and they're working towards. And if that's within 80, 90 years, they achieved it. One other aspect is, I seen this guy, I can't remember his fucking name off the top of my head, but he stated that he was talking to one of the kings of the Rockefeller tribe, and he was hanging out with them, right? And they were pretty good friends, and because they have total control, they don't give a fuck. They'll tell you the facts right to your face, and there's nothing you're going to fucking do about it. And I love them for that, right? That's how you do your shit. And he told this guy, Aaron Russo is the name of the guy. He told him, and Aaron Russo came out and said that he was hanging out, and the guy fucking asked him, this Rockefeller dude asked him, hey, Aaron, what do you think about women's liberation, right? What did you think about it? And Aaron's like, well, I think that's a noble cause. I mean, women should have it right. And then the Rockefeller dude starts laughing, and he's like, you're a fucking idiot, dude, right? Like, you're fucking retarded. And he's like, well, what do you mean, man? What do you know? What's wrong with that and shit? Right? And Russo said, who do you think funded all that shit? We did. And he's like, well, why the fuck would you? Well, and not just them, but we had a hand in pushing this agenda forward. And he said, well, why would you want to do something like that? And he's like, are you fucking stupid? He said, we realized we had one individual, the woman at home, right, that we can't tax. So we need to get their ass in the fucking program, right? Because at this point in time, before all this shit, the women were literally protected by their man, right? And they were like hands off, right? So the man was the head of the family. The man also took all of the brunt of what his woman did. And that's why also there was that movie, what the fuck? I cannot fucking think properly. Yeah, I Love Lucy. And so this would be back, I don't fucking know. I'm assuming the 50s. This is all just, I'm just ad-libbing. I'm just fucking talking right off my head. And just things that are coming and swarming around in my fucking, that fucking shithead that I have. And the facts are that I've heard this being said, that that's why at the end, or I've never really watched this I Love Lucy, but I heard it referred to. And it said that's why Lucy would always get these spankings. And so, if you look right here, you bad girl. That's a bad girl. And yeah, and it's because here's how it fucking rolls. This is how the reality of the real shit rolls, unless you want to manipulate reality, like the owners want to manipulate everybody. But the reality is that shit rolls downhill, and it rolls from the man to the woman to the child. Okay, so a woman was responsible for the child all fucking day, and that woman would fucking spank the child and give orders and tell him, right? And by the end of the day, when the woman is fucking at home all fucking day with their child, yelling at their child because they're fucking little shitheads, they keep jumping on the fucking couch and doing this and that, blah, blah, blah. They're not, right? And then the man was out fucking making the living, coming home, right? And then he would give fucking orders to the woman, right? And she would have a nice warm dinner for him, and fucking that would be the fucking life, wouldn't it? Right? And not even because, and all these people, oh my god, because you want to give, no. It's just how it fucking works, because in all reality, if you have a good woman, you don't have to fucking give orders. You don't have to do shit. Everybody is working together. And here's they're not acting like a fucking little cunt, right? So anyways, yeah, so we got this. And so there's that one's a subject. This one all of a sudden in 2016 has the father and the mother's maiden name on that shit. And so they weren't just using the maiden name of the mother, creating a bastard child. And here's another thing. If you I know somebody who was born, raised, and married in Pennsylvania, and they went to go and get a marriage certificate, and they had to go to the orphans. Fucking, I forget exactly what they're, but but because they were orphaned, because they're bastard fucking children in the eyes of the law, and they put themselves in that via they consented and they contracted, right? So as far as the government is concerned, you walk in and they say, are you a bastard? And you're like, oh, hell yeah, I'm a bastard. Let me sign that. And they're like, okay, great. And then they just put you into the system. They don't fucking know any better, right? However, there's an aspect of also, if you're like me and was like, no, I'm not a bastard, then they might fuck you up. And so you got that one. That's the same one, isn't it? Named whatever. And then you got this one. Issued in 1982. And this is also. And then you have the all cap, which is a subject. It doesn't even exist. And it's owned. Now, let's go to. And one other thing is you have to know the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, all commonwealths are owned by the British. Okay? It's not state of Pennsylvania. Well, it's the same. Don't fucking tell me, people. You brain fucking monkey-headed motherfucker. Don't tell me what the fuck. You haven't even done a goddamn bit of fucking little bit of research. Yeah, it operates kind of the same, and you know why? Because the same entities, the same group owns all the fucking states, right? Because they're oversee all of this shit, right? And it's overseas, and every state is a foreign corporation that sits on a fucking a territory that American soil, right? And the Federal Reserve itself is nothing but foreign bankers. And so, like an example, I just found yesterday that Sweden is actually referred to as Kingdom of Sweden. Why the fuck doesn't anybody ever talk about that? Sweden, officially the Kingdom of Sweden. So there is still royalty is the Kingdom of Sweden is a constitutional monarchy in Europe. And I haven't even looked to see. There are still, all of Europe is still operating with the royal bloods. Okay? And that's how it works, people. And those are fucking facts. And see that star there? That looks just like that star right here. Right? The Iron Cross type of thing. Anyways, yeah. And United States, or better yet, America needs their own king with the kingdom that oversees a constitutional monarchy that oversees, and the United States corporation works for them. And in all reality, that would be part of the 1%, and your Bushes and shit like that are those people, right? However, they don't want to put themselves out there like that. However, there is they're working towards this, I think, because I've heard it mentioned as like far as Bush literally said, if maybe I should become king or something like that. Made a comment. I believe Obama also said, and I just recently seen where Trump, they were making note of that, right? And it's just how it fucking works, people. So anyways, I'd rather be within reality than in a false in the Wonderland, right? With all the little fucking midgets. Those were mental midgets. Okay? And oh, by the way, so they did get the woman. So now they said, I'm gonna get you, my pretty. And 40 years later, roughly, right? 40 years later from the setting out to do that, they accomplished that feat. And I found out that Pennsylvania, you need a license for your dog in all of Pennsylvania. If you bring a dog into Pennsylvania and you're going to live and reside in Pennsylvania, then you need a license for the dog. I don't know. Oh, I found out you also need to get a license in order to become a beekeeper. We're interested in keeping bees and becoming a beekeeper, and yeah, but that's against the law unless you jump in. I wouldn't even know. Like, I think you have to become a resident and all that shit, and we're not going to do a fucking thing now, right? Except, so for as much time and energy as that we're going to work towards being fucking farther enslaving our fucking stupid nigger fucking asses, we might as well take all of that time and energy and get the fuck out of this fucking place, right? And find a third world country in which there's all of this, you so much room for expansion, right? You know, that's how you fucking do it. If you take all the education that you have and the knowledge that you have obtained in a country with a hyphen in the middle, like United States operates, and you go to a third world country, you can really fucking spread your wings and fly. Where in this country, no, they got me tripping up on every fucking thing. And here's the worst part is like, okay, so what can I do and what can I not do? I don't want to put my fucking self in a position where you fucking assholes can show up out of nowhere and be like, hey, that's against the law, or we want to tax you on that and everything. And there's other aspects. So what am I allowed to do? What can I do and what can I do? So can I get a list of all the things? And then they're like, well, the laws and all this, blah, blah. No, but no. Yeah, no. Oh, they even tell you, go get a lawyer. No, you're never going to find a lawyer and be like, hey, can you give me a list of all the shit I'm not allowed to do? Because they make the shit up as they go along, people. Right? That's how in fucking slaves you are. Right? You're in an open door prison, so to speak. If you want to do anything, you're going to have to fucking jump through a bunch of hoops, and it just bogs me, stuck in the mud. I can't fucking do it. Right? I have in the past. I've done little pieces, just enough to try to move forward, and then even when I do that, I come to find out that there's even more I have to do. And then there's even more, and all I'm trying to do is just make a fucking, just fucking be able to live and survive. And then I'm like, this is why there's so many fucking homeless people. There's no fucking hey, all you fucking cunts out there pointing fingers and like, oh, no. I'm almost positive all that happened was one little upset in their life. And that started a fucking downward spiral, right? And most of them, and if they didn't have anybody to be able to fucking depend on or be able to like move in with, right? Like the only reason we're not fucking completely homeless right now, and we are looking, the only thing we see in our future is to be literally on the streets, completely homeless, and that's like fucking fairly quick. Like we're looking at how we are going to be homeless, right? And because every fucking thing we try, it's like you're not allowed to do it, and you can't do it, and you can't do this and shit. It's fucking amazing. And so, to go and try to finish this up, yeah, so there's a bunch of, there's 1999. This is a good example right here. Fuck you. 1999. He says that it ended in 1999, and here you have a birth certificate from 1999 issued in 1999, and they do not have, and look, father's name, and this individual was born in 1921. The birthplace Europe, mother's maiden name and birthplace was Johnstown, Pennsylvania. And can you be a little bit fucking more precise? Birthplace Europe. That's like saying birthplace America. Alright? However, they are interested in the county. So why are you interested in the county here? You're interested in a birthplace there, but then birthplace is just Europe. That's a little fucking odd. Anyways. So, the point is, what else we got? See, here's 2011, and the birthplace is Italy. Maybe it's just because, again, the individual just wrote Europe, and they accepted it. They push it through. But this one says Italy. And certificate of birth, certification. Oh yeah, it's not a birth certificate, and everybody calls it a birth certificate. Your birth certificate, and this is all the fucking time, but it's not a birth certificate. So call it what the fuck it is. It is a certification of birth. Certification of birth. Do you have your certification of birth? Yes, I do. Do you have a birth certificate? No, I don't. Well, it's the same. No, it's fucking not. Okay? You motherfuckers need to start fucking acting right. Pull your fucking head out of your ass. You call a goddamn spade, a heart, a fucking club, a club. So, the next thing is Pennsylvania is the Keystone State. They refers to themselves as the Keystone State, right? So let's close this one, this one, this one. And what is the keystone is the vital part of the archway. And what would the archway be? Well, either side, pick a side, would be America and foreign interest, I guess. You could say British, right? Because in general, it is the Brits, the British Empire. The sun never sets on the British fucking Empire, right? And why? Because they're fucking badasses, okay? And here's a fact, is that, you know, I got my DNA test back, and I wouldn't, I mean, obviously I have an English last name. The last name is literally a village in England, right? So the last name, I could pull up the last name, and there is literally a village in England. And what's fucking kind of funny is that the village is close by to Stanhope, which is another village. And if you know anything about comedy, one of the fucking coolest dudes out there is Doug Stanhope. And he's like He's like he's a lot like me, and the crazy part is he looks a shit ton like one of my, like a family member. He like there's a family member that I'm not gonna, because there's nothing but spiders that fucking that watch this shit, so I'm not gonna give them any. But that's pretty funny. And anyways, also, so I got my yeah, and so I'm hugely, my bloodline is hugely British, Scottish, and Irish ish, right? So the whole makeup of my genetic makeup, as far as what they're saying, is about, like, put them all together, and I'm like 80, within 80% of all of my genetic makeup is British, Irish, and the biggest portion is Scottish. So Scottish, they're saying like 45% Scott, 23% fucking British, and then 20 some percent of Irish descent. Like my direct ancestry, the people came from these plots, these areas. So the keystone, or also called a capstone, is yeah, for the masonry, and that's why they call them Pennsylvania. And then here, the U.S. state of Pennsylvania. Again, it's not a state; it's a Commonwealth. You fucking moron. And why is it why do they? Because it is the Keystone State, or it's the Keystone. Because of during early American history, it held a crucial central position among the 13 colonies, geographically, economically, and politically, like the keystone in an arch. Right? A keystone is the symbol of Pennsylvania. And Pennsylvania's Supreme Court is the highest court in all of United States, all of America. The Pennsylvania Supreme Court is the highest. That's the most superior. And the next thing is the shoulder sleeves of Pennsylvania National Guard's 28th Infantry Division, a red keystone, first adopted in World War One. And here would that be? And but now it's black. Well, and this is actually just the specific infantry division of the 28th. But typically, everywhere that I see one of these, it's fully black. And this one here is called the Bloody Bucket Division by the German forces due to the shape and color of its red keystone insignia. And the Iron Division, which Pittsburgh has Iron City beer, you know, all of these connections and shit. Anyways, then that leads me to the last little point. British nationality, British subjects, right? All citizens of Commonwealth countries, which would be Pennsylvania, were collectively referred to as British subjects until 1983. However, this was not an official status for most of them. So if you were born before 1983, date of birth 11, date issued 93. What the fuck is that? So I guess 1911. It had to have been 1911 because it wasn't 2000 yet. So they were considered a subject because they were born. They were considered subjects, and they were considered inside of the Commonwealth, which they were considered British subjects. And who is a British subject? You became a British subject on 1983, if until then you were either a British subject without citizenship, which means you were a British subject on December 1948, who did not become a citizen of UK colony, a Commonwealth country, Pakistan, or a person who had been a citizen of Ireland, rights of a British subject. You can hold a British passport, get consular assistance and protection from UK diplomatic posts. However, you are usually subject to immigration controls and do not have the automatic right to live or work in the UK. There are rare exceptions to that, of course, whenever they want to fucking put you in. Or you are not considered a UK. So if you this individual could have a British passport, and that is what led me to the passport issue, where I'm like, there is no fucking way. Like, if I'm currently in America, which is I'm being held hostage by the United States corporation at this point. So if I want to go and re-up my passport so I could leave, they're gonna want me to start pledging oaths and shit, and I'm not going to. But I will lie to their fucking asses just so I can get what the fuck I need to get the fuck out. But that's fucked up. So why are we playing all these games when in fact, and here's the other aspect is, why the fuck would I want a U.S. Like, I want a passport, but I do not want U.S. to have anything. I don't want to walk around and be like, oh, you a United States citizen? No, I'm not. Well, then why is your passport? Right? I don't want to be fucking identified as a United States citizen. Right? I have not partaked in any of the global fuckery that they've done, put themselves in, I have not partaked. I have not fucking reaped any benefit from any of it. Therefore, I don't want to fucking be, I don't want to take on all of the liability of United States, referring to myself as a United States citizen when I'm not. I'm an American, or more like an Americant. I'm an American, but I'm not a U.S. citizen. And well, did you? Yeah, well, hey, I revoke every fucking thing that I have ever done out of my own stupidity. I was duped into this shit, and now I would gladly be, my roots are fucking Scottish, and my DNA is not fucking of any American fucking, right? My roots all go back to the fucking, all of my ancestors. My ancestors are all, only a couple generations are of American, right? So, like, my one specific grandfather, right? My great-grandparents, one specific branch of my great-grandparents are directly from Italy, okay? So, yeah. I'm not a United States citizen. I will be only so I can fucking get what I need, just so I can fucking bounce. Right? So yeah, this the rights of a British subject. And so and here's another thing. If you were born into that shit and you have been a British subject for all your goddamn life, they should have the goddamn fucking decency and courtesy to respect when I want a British passport. I want a fucking British passport, which trumps your fucking United States bullshit. And that's what That's what I'm going for.